I see my friend Colors, a lover of Tobago, has joined us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is that here, Mike? Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Ansel Dennis. Every election, you hear the people talk about autonomy. And we know that we cannot get autonomy unless the constitution change or one party and one party get at least 30 seats. The constitution have to change, and for the constitution to change, one party have to get at least 30 seats. We know that, but it's not that I really come to speak about. Every election, we hear about community center and road. Only community center and road. I want to hear things like we get a flyover to divert the traffic from Scarborough to Plymouth. That is the kind of thing I want to hear. I want to hear about indoor facility in the east and in the west. It's only 3 community center, 4 blocks that I could build. I want to see things like a zoo where children could, on Sundays, people could go and carry the children. You know, it's them kind of thing I fed up saying about community center and road and all that kind of thing. And the next thing, the PNM was there for 4 terms. Remember that? PNM in Trinidad and PNM in Tobago. We didn't 4 terms, eh? And now they're condemning a 3-term assembly.
3 years.
A 1-term assembly. Right? It never a term yet, but they're condemning a 1-term assembly. And the PNM was therefore, no, you can't get through if the people around you just come and talk good thing and talk the thing all they want to hear. And all it was therefore 4 terms with almost 60 or 70 billion. And I can't hear about, we can't get a zip line.
Colors, we ain't not close to 70 billion, but go ahead.
Well, approximately.
Not even approximately.
We can't even get smooth road. And all was there for so long. And then, how all you could convince me now, after being there for 4 terms, and this administration there for like 3 years, and so much a condemnation, and now the PNM wanted to put them back there after 4 terms, PNM in Trinidad and PNM in Tobago. Let that make sense.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Colors. I'll invite political leader to respond.
So, firstly, let me say, right, that the PNM in 21 years did not get anywhere close to 60 or 70 billion dollars. So let's put that on the record. Right, so let's talk about 21 years. Now, I'm not going to repeat the fact that over 21 years, Tobago was transformed by the PNM. That's a fact. But the PNM never had a 21-year terminal. The PNM got elected in 2001 for the first time. And then in 2005, we had to write an examination because the people of Tobago had to correct the paper. And in 2005, they found that the sums were correct. So they say, okay, you pass the test. So he won the election again. From 2005 to 2009, that was another term. So again, we had to go back to the people of Tobago to give account, not from 2001, but for that period of 2005 to 2009, and the people of Tobago had the opportunity to weigh their options, and they said to the PNM, we like how you're going. Take another term. That was 2009. Then we came again in 2013, examination time again. And the people of Tobago said to us that you all are doing so well. Take 12 seats. Then we came again in 2017, fresh exam, not the same paper, different issues, coming up against the PDP this time. And I remember the same colours passed me in tongue, being me fatigued during the election. He said, what? He said 16 years and same $60 billion. He come here tonight, same the 60 billion again. He says 16 years and $60 billion. How Dennis by? Well, you're telling people in Tobago now. So we won that election 10-2. And then by the time we got to 2021, the people of Tobago said, okay, you didn't pass the examination on this occasion. So time for change. And we respect that. That's how democracy is. The people choose, the people get to decide. And they decided in 2021 that they didn't want any more of the PNM. In 2025, and I want to make this abundantly clear, the election in by now it will be in 2026, will not be about 2001 or 2005 or 2009 or 2013 or 2017 or even 2021. That election will be about the period 2021 to 2026, February or whenever is the election. And the people of Tobago must then determine whether or not these individuals in office now, by virtue of their performance, by virtue of their responses on the examination paper, whether or not they pass the test. And I have a feeling that they will fail miserably. So yes, I know they're going to say, well, PNM get 21 years, so give us 21 years too. The PNM had 21 good years. And you can't come now after 4 bad years to say that you want the same 21 years. It doesn't work like that. If they wanted 21 years, then they should have started us with 4 good years. So, start with 4 good years and we're going to see what's going to happen after that. I deal with that already. Right? So, this election, and Tobagonians must be clear that this election is about judging the performance of the current assembly over the last 4 years. And if you want to give them a pass mark for abandoning 5 major projects in Tobago East for 4 years. That's on you. If you want to give them a pass mark for selling out our entire development budget, sidelining the Tobagonian contractors, sidelining the Tobagonians who were employed by them, sidelining the smaller businesses that got business from those Tobago contractors. If you want to give them a pass mark for that, that's on you. If you want to give them a pass mark for paying our service providers, especially in the creative sector, record late periods. Just imagine Heritage in the last year have not been paid this year. Carnival was in October. Don't be surprised if, God forbid, and they are still in office, another Carnival will meet and those bills will not be paid. And if you want to give them a pass mark for that situation, then that's totally up to you as Tobagonians. Yeah?
Thank you, Mr. Political Leader, for reminding
Say that
us.
again. 2017 to 2021. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Political Leader, for reminding us and cautioning us that one bad term does not deserve another one, right? We continue to take questions. We continue to invite you, the friends of Roxborough Argyle and the lovers of Tobago, to come forward with your recommendations, your comments, your observations. This is a conversation led by the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement.
But I wanted to, before you go, I wanted to respond to one more thing he said about wanting to see flyovers and all those sort of things. Now, all I will say is that the People's National Movement in this election will be coming with a bold new vision for Tobago. You see, the development of Tobago and the development of anywhere is about a journey. So when we inherited Tobago, it hardly had community centers. When we inherited Tobago, it hardly had lighted playing fields. When we inherited Tobago, all the major projects in Tobago were being done by contractors from Trinidad. We came, we changed the situation. Tobago now has the reality of having more community centers, more sporting facilities, more hospitals, more public facilities per head of population than anywhere else in this region, thanks to the PNM. So I could quite understand if callers tell me, well, he fed up hearing about community centers because we built a lot, right? But development is a journey, and I could tell you that going forward, our focus, the People's National Movement's focus in terms of Tobago's development will be mainly on the tourism and agriculture sector. As it relates to tourism, there is a need for more rooms on the island, and I don't like to talk about spilled milk, but Tobago missing out on that Sandals Resort project was one of the worst things that could have possibly happened to our tourism sector. And I saw a flyer recently where St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the destination that got our hotel, the hotel that we were supposed to get, they got it. They are currently in the process of building out 4 additional major resorts on that island. And that is because investment follows investment. So had we gotten that Sandals, there would have been more interest in the destination from other investors. Some people may argue that we don't need Sandals. Go tell the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that they didn't need Sandals. Because since they got it, the number of flights from carriers such as JetBlue, American Airlines, Virgin Atlantic, British Airways increased exponentially. And that automatically means that the number of tourists coming to that destination increased exponentially. And if the number of tourists coming to your destination increase exponentially, then you have to feed those people. To feed them, it requires thousands of eggs, thousands of lettuce, thousands of tomatoes, thousands of pounds of fish. Who you think going to have the first opportunity to produce that in Tobago? It will be Tobago farmers. Of course, if you fail to produce it, then they will have to import it from somewhere, and most likely Trinidad. Right? Taxi operators, tour operators, the various businesses, the bars, the restaurants, the shops, the groceries, the creatives, the dancers, the musicians, etc. All of those persons, their lives in Tobago could have been improved significantly by the presence of that resort in Tobago. So we will be ensuring that we pursue investment, that we pursue in the kind of infrastructural development that will attract people to the island. And I don't want to say too much at this point in time, but we definitely need a new cruise ship terminal, right? That's one of the things that we need. And I wouldn't say more at this point in time, but we will be coming very soon at the appropriate time with a bold new vision for Tobago. And I want to say to the farmers, without giving away a lot, that opportunities, major opportunities, will be coming your way. The farmers in Tobago and also the fishermen. Because in Tobago, we must produce, we must feed ourselves. And I don't like to boast, but if it's one person who occupied public office in Tobago who was serious about the agriculture sector, it has to be yours truly, Ansel Dennis.
Thank you, political leader, for exciting us about this bold new vision that's being crafted for the people of Tobago. I'm sure the farmers of Louisdor and Lamy, and indeed those even in Collam, will be excited for the opportunities to come. I'm also happy to note that in this bold new vision, it's not just physical infrastructure, but there's concerted effort to place focus and emphasis on human capital development. And I'm sure the young people in the audience this evening would appreciate that, the opportunities that would emerge for employment, for investment, etc. I want to put my friend, or little Talawa, brave, bold, Miss John, on the spot. The political leader spoke of his bold vision. What are some of the plans, the vision, what are some of your vision for Roxborough Argyle electoral district, some of your plans? How do you envisage working with your constituents. I'm speaking it into being, right?
Well, firstly, as a youth myself, as our political leader said, I'm 26 years, so I'm still considered a youth in this space. So youth opportunities and youth employment is something that takes top priority for me as the prospective candidate, hoping to be your next area representative. For quite some time, even before I decided to embark on this journey, young persons, including myself, have been in this electoral district in Tobago, I might add, has been struggling with opportunities and employment. Some of us, we went off, we got to study, and came back thinking that we will contribute to our island beneficially, not wanting to go on to other countries to give back to what our country puts into us. So that's one thing I want to pay particular attention to. Firstly, let me start with the opportunities. There are too many talented young men and women in this electoral district where their talents are currently going to waste. For example, there are many talented footballers in this electoral district. I'm a great supporter of the Roxborough Lakers Football Club currently. Their home ground is the Sid Gray Complex. Currently, the TFA competition is currently taking place. The Tobago Football Association competition is taking place. And the Sid Gray Complex lights are not up to par. Some of them are currently missing, and this has been happening for quite some time. There is no ability to have double-header games currently there at the moment. The players there struggle to see when they are training. So these kind of things are inhibiting our young people from gaining true opportunities as youths. In addition to youth opportunities, I want to speak specifically to youth employment. I myself, this is something that is dear to my heart. As someone who has studied and came back to try to give back to my community, to my island. And this is the cry of many young persons in Tobago and in this electoral district. Some persons who may have been even struggling for longer than I have. Some persons, they may have the necessary, they may want to learn more of the necessary skills, the necessary trade to gain gainful employment, but are not able to gain opportunities and employment. There's one thing that an initiative that I would like to embark on if given the opportunity, of a mentorship program where young men and women can learn alongside our skilled tradesmen and tradeswomen within the electoral district. Within this district, we have exceptional tradesmen and tradeswomen who I believe will be willing to take some of these men and young women under their wings, to help them to craft their trade and to be able to have some sort of employment for themselves. Because within this Tobago House of Assembly, we have been trying, because of trying to employ as much persons as we can within this Tobago space. But at this current moment, we can be honest with ourselves that the Tobago House of Assembly have employed more persons than we should at the moment. So I think that making that extra step, making that extra push to the young men and the young women for them to gain these employments, for these opportunities, for them to see that as me as a representative, I look out for them. I see their potential. And I know that there is more than just sitting on the block. There are opportunities that they can embark on, and I want to ensure, as someone who is open to be of your service, to ensure that these opportunities are given to these young people. So that's something that's close to my heart, youth employment and youth opportunities.
Thank
I'm happy for that, Mr. Collins. I'm really happy for that.
I thought Colors was coming to the microphone again. So we continue to invite questions, comments, recommendations. Ms. John, I want to echo your sentiments in terms of opportunities for young people. And I know with your passion, your drive, as well as your foresight, that you would be a voice
Yes.
for the youth, not only in Roxborough Argyle, but for the youth of Tobago. And I'm
Yes.
looking forward to that. Okay, so we invited anybody else who would be, yes, come, you could come to the microphone right there. When you come, don't forget to introduce yourself, your name, and you could also say where you're coming from, which village.
I am.
Good night.
Hey, good evening.
My name is Kenrick McPherson, ex-prison chief, Tobago Prison Service. First of all, I must at least welcome Mr. Dennis, Ms. Roy, and now I see my neighbor, who I believe is the chosen representative for this area. Argyle, Roxborough, Delaford, that's the constituency. I want to first of all say that when I got the invitation to come to this discussion here this evening, at first I thought it was a meet the police situation to discuss the present crime situation and what the villagers have in mind to do for the betterment of Trinidad and Tobago. I was personally invited by another neighbor, and then tonight, my good friend, Mr. John, called my resident and personally invite me again on behalf of his daughter, the representative, to be here tonight. And hear what he said. Mr. McPherson, you know you is one of the older head in Delaford, and your vision is always one that is being respected by people based on your knowledge of Tobago and especially this community of Delaford. As you can see, I am weary, worn, tired, cold, hoping I can be with my wife at this cold night tonight. But because of the invitation, I could not have turned it down. So when I came in and I saw the banner, Tobago deserves better community conversation. Tobago first again, vote PNM. I kind of feel scared. The reason why I felt scared is because I, Kenrick McPherson, is not no member of any particular party. I consider myself a nationalist. Listen again. I consider myself a nationalist. By so meaning, I'm a national of Trinidad and Tobago. And as a person, I do not want to be affiliated personally to no particular party, but to the country or the island of Trinidad and Tobago. All my interest and duty is to seek betterment for this country. And I do not want it was to tie up by no bureaucracy or fanatism of any party to express my franchise. So when I came, and you see me sitting in the corner there, at least you see I had no particular color, I kind of feel apprehensive that if the other party see me here in this network or this congregation, how will they feel if I took an opportunity again to stand on their pulpit to say something? They might feel I'm a PNM. No, I am not a PNM. As I said, I'm a nationalist. Right. I know time is limited and I myself is trying to hasten to get back to my wife. If so be it that my neighbor is finally chosen as the representative for Argyle Roxborough Delaford in the upcoming election, and I'm being invited here, that means to say the battle drums have started to roll for the next coming THA election. Is that so? Is that so, Mr. Dennis?
Of course.
As the battleground or the battle drums are signaling, we are ready to go to the polls again to choose a new assembly.
Yes, a new assembly. I like how you say that.
How privileged I am to be here in the first meeting that set out that road towards this new assembly. Ms. John, are you finally chosen our representative for this area? After the screening, I believe that was taking place over the past 2 weeks of all the parties.
Yes,
Are you finally chosen the representative?
Yes, I'm the prospective candidate for this area.
Congratulations. Your father came to my residence not so long ago. And he told me, Taka, which is my short name and alias in the community, like a house on fire, I want your support, boy. My daughter is going up to represent us. You know me already, you know what I stand for. And I want your support and your family's support as a village, hoping that she can be successful as our candidate this time around. Took about 2 minutes before I respond, because there we go again, being a nationalist, I don't want to get caught up. You know, party politics. So after revising my cranium and thing, I come up with an idea and I told him, boy, well, as a villager, if that is so, and knowing how me and you go down and what you did for me and I do for you, boy, you're in a sticky position. Because I don't like when election day comes, I choose the person who I believe will best serve me in my community and Tobago as a whole. But what I do? I didn't tell him yesterday. But I told him I would see what I could do if she finally get the representation to do it. So in that sense, I am happy to be here tonight in at least giving you my congratulations of, first of all, getting that post. Historically, in this village of Delaford, which has been one of the most contentious villages in political history in Trinidad and Tobago, here we go once again. This particular area has given us a prime minister, and more so doing, this village of Delaford helped that person to become prime minister with its vote, which was crucial at that time for him to win the Tobago EC. I'm speaking of the deceased A.N.R. Robinson. But at least he wasn't a born Delafordian. During the years that a representative has been representative of this village here, Delaford. But historically, as my old brain can tell me, there have never been a born Delafordian who have been the representative of the area coming from Delaford. Mr. Dennis, can you tax your brain a little with me to see if that has ever happened? A born Delafordian, anybody in the audience, that a born Delafordian has represented the constituency here or the area here in the assembly election?
Can't recall where Gary was from. Where Gary was from. Gary was a candidate.
Mr. Belleville, I think after Mr. Sandy, I don't think he was selected as a representative.
He wasn't elected.
Were he selected?
No, he wasn't elected, but he was a candidate for us at one point.
So that brings us back to my dear neighbor. I want history to be written this time around that a female has been the first representative born in Delaford to win this area. That is what brought me here tonight.
Yes, sir.
And I will give my support to see that happen.
Thank you.
But recently in my age, I find myself being a pastor, a wise man, one of the people who you can come to for history of this area, Delaford, who might have known my old man at the time before his death. He was the one who a lot of people came to for a lot of history of this community of Delaford. He has died and passed on, and it seems like I am slowly becoming his replacement. Many function I'm given the task of MC, or say a few words on the pulpit, say something on behalf of this because of my knowledge, most time, of the person who have died. I don't want to give my age, because you might believe I'm so young. But it's because of the fact I'm a born and grown Delafordian who have traveled throughout life history to all various parts of Trinidad and Tobago, taking an assignment of doing good for this country and my area and my little Tobago. God has took me in all aspects and aside of life on a journey, maybe I now get to realize, was to gain all that knowledge, to come back, to at least serve my people in the capacity of knowing the history of this little place. By so doing, it took me now to the 30th of September 1963, when Tobago was devastated by Hurricane Flora, and nearly 99% of the agricultural produce of Tobago were destroyed, and by so doing, that hurricane rendered Tobago helpless. Anybody here alive when that happened, the hurricane passed? Can we all remember the devastating force and fury of God's wrath? Based on that, we can imagine how the people of the, Jamaica felt as one of the most vicious hurricanes of the century hit them. I was witness to Florida. I was 12 years old, sitting on a neighbor gallery when the fury and force of God hit this country with such furious that it destroyed almost everything that was standing. And with so doing, it destroyed the bread basket of Trinidad and Tobago. At that time, I used to pick pigeon peas for my little pittance in my pocket, when pigeon peas was one of the great and sustainable peas in Tobago. That alone was destroyed too. And for 60 years, I have waited and listened. Various politicians, change of governments, appointees to various departments and areas. And I have been waiting 60 years to see if any one of them could come up with a comprehensive plan to replace Tobago and to put it back as the food basket of the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you so very much for that proposition to our political leader. Before I allow our political leader to respond,
Mr. Dennis, that is what I want to hear as I wait on God to take me home. 60 years I've been waiting to hear somebody come up with a comprehensive plan to repair Tobago from the devastation of Flora in 1963. No. As my young neighbor is here to represent us this time, I want to see this. I, within myself over the years, have various plans in my head how it can happen. Because Dr. Williams did not go back and do something about the destruction. He diversified his policies on education. Remember the famous quotation he made? Education will be the food basket. And ever since then, those abundant land is still there. Up in Fox, as we call them in Delaford Woods, other various areas in Tobago, waiting to go back to. How will we go back to them? Because I heard Sanders Sanders is coming to Tobago and was coming to Tobago, and the first thing I heard about it all, food to feed the hotel. Food what Tobago normally does produce. And to sustain the hotel, you need food. And I was thinking if Tobago at the time could sustain Sanders with local food. No, we can't. No. Because we are not
So, Mr. We want to give the political leader the opportunity to respond.
I just want you, I don't want no cross talk after it. I just put in it in. Mr. Dennis, this is my plan. I came. Presently we are faced with social programs. Naming see Dr. William Time a dude, see special votes. Now you are seated. Now you don't expect the government most time to be the only employer. But these small programs, Mr. Dennis, I was thinking, if every village is identified to produce a particular crop in Tobago, and we have a conservative plan, let us say, all right, we're going to go back to the land. Delaford will produce yam. Roxborough will produce plantain. Argyle will produce cassava. Another village will produce another crop. And the great north side will produce dasheen. And in between various villages will produce vegetable crops. Corn, cassava. And we identify every village with a crop to produce. And we take them same secret people, young people that we have working 3 and 2 hours, and send them there to be productive in this land with the modern technology and equipment we have. Can it be done? My young neighbor, I'm giving you that mandate. I'm giving you that mandate if you have been selected. To try your best and see how much you can influence those around you to make that reality a success before I die.
Thank you, Mr. McPherson. I will allow the political leader the opportunity to respond to the queries raised in terms of agriculture and disaster preparedness and management.
So, I must say I appreciate and understand the passion.
Yes.
The passion. That what you saw there is passion. Because it's quite correct from that devastation of Tobago to now, our agriculture sector has not truly recovered. And I remember when I attended the commissioning of one of the 2 new fast ferries while I was Chief Secretary, I said to the audience and the people of Tobago at that point in time that when the ferry travels between Trinidad and Tobago, we have a situation where it goes down empty and comes back to Tobago full of food. And at that time, I promised the people of Tobago that I will do all in my power with the little time that I had left as Chief Secretary to reverse that situation, because the ferries, as new as they were and as exciting as they were to provide transportation opportunities between Trinidad and Tobago, Tobagonians must place ourselves in a position to benefit the most from that. And I want to give the same commitment that I gave back then. Return the PNM to office. Return me as your Chief Secretary. And I will ensure that within the first term of office, we will reverse that trend. And more food will leave Tobago than food that comes from Trinidad to Tobago.
In terms of preparedness for disasters and management, any political leader, your thoughts on that as you would have raised it?
Yeah, well, in terms of resilience, that is something we of course must pay attention to, and it is going to be an integral part of our bold new vision for the island of Tobago. The pandemic taught us a very valuable lesson because nobody expected it, and for an entire year or more, businesses had to be closed. The tourism sector was totally shut down. Hotels closed, planes weren't flying, the borders were closed. And I am sure you recall that period where workers from the tourism sector had to be home, and had it not been for the government who provided grants to give these people relief and to give them an income, and at the same time was able to maintain a situation where no public servant was sent home nor paid late, right? A lot of people would have struggled. And therefore it tells us that as an island, we have to be prepared for any eventuality. Whether it be pandemic, whether it be hurricane, we must ensure that we put things in place to ensure the quick recovery. And we refer to it as resilience, which means your ability to recover from shocks, whether it be economic shocks, whether it be devastation from natural disasters, and as we learned recently, pandemics, right? So I want to give you the assurance that as we plan and develop this bold new vision, that we will be paying a lot of attention to Tobago's resilience as a small island in the Caribbean.
Thank you, political leader. Just for those viewing online, and for those of you gathered here, just a reminder, these conversations aren't a PNM conversation or just a PNM people. These conversations are for the people of Tobago. These conversations are for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, especially those persons who hold Tobago near and dear to their hearts. So we want to encourage everyone, regardless of your color, to come and join our conversations as we work towards creating a bold new vision for Tobago, as we work towards ensuring we put Tobago first again. Do we have any more questions, any more comments? Good evening.
My name is Cornish Williams.
Mr. Williams, yeah.
Yes. All right. I'm a born PNM. I don't know if I will die a PNM, but I decide to remain a PNM all the days of my life. And something happened yesterday that worried me, even up to now, is a kind of a welcome our Prime Minister received. It bothered me because I know Dr. Keith Rowley never will be welcome in his own country. And if a man cannot be welcome in his own country, something wrong. But what I want to say, I want to speak to especially to the candidates. I want to quote some scripture. First, I think it's Joshua 10, where the enemies came up against the children of Israel, and Joshua couldn't manage. But Joshua saw a gentleman who was a stranger in front of him. He had a conversation with a stranger. He said, "Are you on my side or against me?" The reply that the stranger made was, "As captain of the host." So it was an angel that came to lead the children of Israel to victory. Please do not believe you candidates could make it for yourself. Let God be the leader. Don't believe that you are too small and you cannot make it. Use David's experience. David, brothers tried to turn him away from fighting the giant, but he know that with God all things are possible. Go forth, God will give you the victory.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Williams, for reminding us that in all things we must lean not on our own strength and our own understanding, but on Almighty God. As we wind up, I would like to invite our prospective candidate, Ms. Shani John, to just give her closing pitch. Tell Tobago, tell Roxborough Argyle why you are the best woman for the job.
Firstly, I want to comment on what I call him Mr. Tucker, my neighbor. He mentioned that Delaford probably hasn't had an elected representative before. And I want to be that person for you all here in Delaford and by extension, Roxborough Argyle. I want to be that first, and I want to make you all proud. You all molded me, and I am ready to give back to you. I want to see the young boys out at the Playway booth gainful employment. I want to see the Kings Bay waterfall flourish so beautifully. I want to see the playground in Louisdor that they are so asking for to be renovated with lights and bathrooms. I want to see in Roxborough, I want to see the administrative complex refurbished and used to the benefits of the people of not just Roxborough, but the people of Tobago East. I want to see in Argyle the young boys being able to play on the football field right outside the community center with care, with lights, with proper fencing. I want to see the aquatic pool in Kendall open to the public once more. I want to see, let me go back to Roxborough, I want to see the wonderful world-renowned Argyle waterfall beneficial to the people of Roxborough and environs, bringing gainful employment and exposure to the people of Tobago East. I want to be of service to you. I haven't started now giving community service. I haven't just started. I have foundation within my family and within my religious background of community service and community outreach. I haven't just started. I just want to continue and continue in a way where I can be able to be on that decision-making process to ensure that the lives of the people of Roxborough Argyle are great, to see them flourishing, to see them advancing, and to see the opportunities being given to the people, whether old or young, in Roxborough Argyle. I am ready to serve. I will be visible. I will be accountable. I will be accessible to anyone in this electoral district. I am ready to give back to you. I am ready to join you once more, to give my whole self to you as your prospective candidate and as your future heir representative of Roxborough Argyle.
Thank you, Shanae, for reminding us that service isn't something new to you, that you have been serving your community not only through religious activities, but through sporting activities, through lending back to young people, through tutoring, through lending to persons who like fashion as a personal shopper. I want to thank you for extending yourself and offering yourself to serve at another level. We all know how important it is for youth voice and for women's voices to be heard around the decision-making table. So we wish you all the best, and I'm telling you all today, join John because you're sure with Shanae, right? And I invite our political leader, tell Roxborough Argyle why we should give you the opportunity to be your Chief Secretary once again.
Well, firstly, let me thank all of you for coming out to this evening's meeting. It was, in fact, a productive conversation, and I think you should give yourselves a round of applause. I also want to congratulate future Assemblyman Tony John for the manner in which she acquitted herself before you this evening. I think she made a strong case for herself, and I'm sure that as the campaign continues, that she will continue to make that strong case for herself and for the People's National Movement as she goes through the streets, the roads, every single corner in this electoral district of Roxborough Argyle, soliciting your support to put Tobago first again. I am Ansel Dennis, political leader of the People's National Movement in Tobago, and I've been a servant of the people all my life, from youth groups, growing up in the church, being in charge of youth ministry in a number of churches, mentoring young people. I was also a musician. Perhaps I'm still a musician, although I'm not actively playing at this point in time. Played for a number of bands in Tobago, sportsman, a cricketer, national cricketer at that. And at the age of 25, I ventured into politics. I spent 9 years serving the people of the electoral district of Buko, Mount Pleasant, raised in the PNM, mentored in the PNM, guided in the PNM by the likes of Orville London, Stanford Calendar, and others. And I was given the opportunity to serve as the youngest Chief Secretary in the history of Tobago at the age of 33. That stint was 19 months and a few days. And you saw me leading this island in one of its most difficult periods. It was a pandemic. We were under daily threat from a COVID-19 virus that ravaged our tourism sector, that ravaged our Tobago economy, and that took a number of lives and compromised our safety. And therefore it was one of the most difficult periods to lead any island or country. But if it's one thing the PNM guarantees, whether at the national level or at the Tobago level, is stable, sober, and effective people-centered leadership in a pandemic, out of a pandemic, good times or difficult times. And you saw this young Chief Secretary back then confronting a number of issues faced by this island. You saw me visiting the farmers, talking to them, and it wasn't just about talk, because we took action as a Tobago House of Assembly to improve the agriculture sector. The farmers said to us, look, the main issue that we have is access to land and access to more resources to produce more. We embarked immediately to pursue a farmland development program where we identified 5 estates: Goldsboro, Richmond Estate, Indian Walk in Moriah, Friendship Estate in Canaan, and the one closest to us here in Delaford, Lamy Road in Argyle. And we embarked upon a plan called the Farmland Development Program to develop over 500 acres of land across Tobago and place those lands into the hands of farmers. And I remember going to Argyle, and we gave a number of young men, some of them under the age of 30 at the time, raising up their hands, standing up saying to us in the THA, give us land, give us the opportunity. We want to help Tobago feed itself and feed the country and feed the region by extension. Unfortunately, those projects stopped. I am not sure what is happening with the one in Lamy Road. I was told work started at one point in time, then it stopped. But 4 years have passed, and those farmers still don't have access to those lands to produce. I am saying, I am committed as your Chief Secretary to improving Tobago's agriculture sector immediately upon being elected. I'm committed to restarting all those farmland development programs to develop the lands, put in the roads, put in the water, put in the electricity and whatever infrastructure is needed. I'm also committed to giving those farmers the necessary funding, because as part of that program, and a Tobago farmer, one who I respect and admire, is at this meeting. I'm not sure if he wants me to call his name, so I will not. Because we live in a time where people get victimized for showing up to locations such as these, political meetings and so on. So I won't call his name, but we were committed to giving the land, giving the resources, giving the funding to these young farmers to expand their operations. And I'm saying that I am committed, the next PNM administration is committed to making that happen immediately upon election. We are going to restart the farmland development program. We are going to ensure that we place lands into the hands of our young people, our older people, so that they can produce and feed Tobago and feed Trinidad and Tobago and feed the region by extension. Right? And the final thing I will say is that you saw the commitment as well from the then PNM administration to improve our tourism sector, because we partnered with the central government. You got your airport, although it's still not open. And one of the speakers before mentioned the fact that they believe that former Prime Minister Dr. Rowley wasn't necessarily celebrated as much as he would have liked. But one thing I recognized is that he wasn't really about the lights and the camera. He was about action. He was about working for the people of Tobago. And therefore, we were hell-bent on improving Tobago's tourism sector. So we delivered the airport. We delivered 2 fast ferries. We were in the process of delivering the Sandals Resort. You know what transpired with that. We are still hoping to accomplish the Marriott Hotel, which is still going through the approval phases. We had on the agenda as well a marina for Tobago somewhere in Cove. And therefore we were about bringing together a suite of infrastructural projects that would have put Tobago in a position to be significantly more competitive in the tourism sector. And I'm saying that once the PNM is re-elected to the Tobago House of Assembly, we will continue that work. So ask yourself, the farmers especially, ask yourself, when last you saw the Secretary of Agriculture or the Chief Secretary himself paying interest and showing interest in what you are doing on your farms, struggling to produce with insufficient resources? Ask yourself that question. And I want to say to you as well that don't be surprised if you see them soon, because election is coming. But ensure that in the next election, you separate talk from action, and you separate games from real policy making, and you separate the TPP from the People's National Movement, and understand that the only choice to put Tobago first again is with the People's National Movement at the helm of the Tobago House of Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis, for reminding us how important it is for all of us to put Tobago first again, and for sharing some of your plans as we craft a bold new vision for Tobago. I am particularly excited for the works intended in the agriculture sector as well as the tourism sector. I might not look it, but I like to plant now and again. And we all know how important it is for us to develop the ability to feed ourselves. You have been a wonderful audience. I want to commend those of you who came out in support of Tobago, in support of our candidate, prospective candidate, Ms. Shawnee John, and those of you who came out in support of the People's National Movement as we take this conversation throughout Tobago. The conversations will continue on Thursday in Bethel. We are inviting you to join us. Come out in your numbers, share your concerns, make recommendations, and let us work together to put Tobago first again. Tobago deserves better. Tobago deserves the loving hands of the People's National Movement once again. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Good evening.
Power, feel the power, power. DJ,
touch it, bring it, baby. Touch it, bring it, baby. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul.
Yeah.
Somebody pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul. Somebody touch me, somebody touch me, somebody touch my soul.
Who, me?
While I was praying, pray to me, Jesus. Somebody touch my soul.
Life too sweet, I can't complain. The only constant is the change, and we go touch the road again. So as long as you call